All right, let's get started looking at these kickers in 2024 in fantasy. Top kickers, Brandon Aubrey, number one for Dallas. All right, been that for 2 years in a row now. Chris Boswell, number two kicker, Pittsburgh. Cameron Dicker for the Chargers is the number three kicker. Fairborn, he's been around a while. Number four, Jason Sanders for Miami. Chase McLaughlin for Tampa. Detroit here. Will Lutz for Denver. You're getting some of these. Daniel Carlson. Numbers in at number 9. Jason Myers. He's been around forever, almost as old as I am. He finished 10th. Tyler Bass here at 11th. And Justin Tucker, Baltimore here at 12, right? So here's your top kickers. Let's bring out their averages. Woo! You can see quite the drop off. This is the top 10. And you've got from our top 12 here. I brought out 12 kickers. Brandon Aubrey, 13 points a game, down to 9 points a game. That's a 3-point difference all the way down here to the 10th kicker. Here's the 10th kicker. But almost 3 points a game. You average 3 points. Average to your team. How different would that have made your fantasy year if you'd had the number one kicker? All right. Well, now compared to the mean here is going to be 10. That's going to be 2 points, at least 2 points. So there's the averages. You can just see the drop off. If you didn't have these top two or just the top one, I mean, you're paying every week, right? All right, here's the extra point score. Do you think, hey, I always thought, hey, get a good team scores a lot, like a lot scoring, Here's the touchdowns, extra points. Get them extra points. Well, then, no, it kind of works. You're in the back half of the top 10, though. We'll go ahead and bring team scoring. Teams that scored the most. Detroit was number one here. A lot of extra points, right? And here's Tampa scoring good here. A lot of extra points. And Buffalo and Baltimore. The top scoring teams here. Well, they make the list by those extra points, but that's not what's driving it, right? Those extra points. Here's the 50-yard field goals, right? Well, those teams that are scoring good must not kick a lot of these 50-yarders, right? Because they're winning. They don't need to kick a 50-yarder. Hey, if you got the lead, they'll punt, I guess. All right, here's these 50-yarder teams, right? Aubrey with 14 50-yard field goals. Boswell with 13. Got to have a long leg here to get to the top of the list, it looks like. And Fairborn, Jason Sanders. Now here's 40-yarders. Dicker makes it up there a little bit higher on the list. He didn't have as many 50s, but he got some 40s. They trust him. Part of that's being trusted at the kicker to get him long ones. Aubrey, they trust him. He got 14 40-yarders, 14 50-yarders. So, hey, and here's total field goals. Now here's total field goals. Well, then again, these teams that are scoring good, getting touchdowns, they ain't getting they ain't kicking as many field goals. They're winning. So Aubrey here, Boswell actually kicked a little bit, one more, but hey, he didn't got the long leg like that. So here's the amount of field goals. So you can see it, kicker makes quite a difference here. Here, look over that average again, 13 all the way down to 9. 4-point difference? That's a 4-point difference. All right, let's look at this. All right, remember when Travis Kelce finishing first every year at tight end, right? I mean, every year. You just knew, not the last couple, but before that, every year he was going to be the top tight end. Well, Aubrey, this is 2 years in a row. Can he make it a third? Maybe he's going to be always going to be the top kicker kind of guy. All right. Well, here, let's look at this further with this red zone scoring touchdowns. Teams get a lot of touchdowns here. Baltimore, you can see 73%, 62.9% for Buffalo. They're going to score a touchdown when they get in that red zone, not kick a field goal. All right. Well, first up is Baltimore, right? Look where they're at the list. Second one is Buffalo. Third one's Detroit, and fourth is Tampa. Kind of like with the scoring. They're pretty efficient in the red zone. Right, well, let's reverse the list and see who's not so efficient in the red zone. Some of the worst red zone teams. 31st for Dallas here. 29th for Boswell. Fairborn, 28th. And 18th here for Dicker, and 16th. But you can see inefficiency in the red zone really leads to You being the top of like kicking a lot of field goals, right? So when we're making our list to figure out who we're going to kick, who we're going to take next year, hey, let's start by looking at who's inefficient in the red zone and can kick 50-yarders, right? So we want inefficient in the red zone, can kick 50-yarders. All right, hit that subscribe button as the season gets closer. Our fantasy season, you want to be subscribed to get the latest. And give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Thank you. All right, I tried to calm down, get my math figuring out a little better here. So I figure out the mean line here for this is about 10.5. You see 13.06. Well, if you're in the middle of the kickers, top 12 kickers, you're the top one's 2.55 more a game per game out of the kicker. Right? Well, I dug out this is out of my 12 team league. I dig in there and find in the 15th round, they took the kicker. Someone took a kicker in the 15th round. And I added that times 12 teams. That ended up to about 174. I look on the Fantasy Pros average ADP, find that we're going to get the players around that area. Lo and behold, I find Brandon Aubrey here at 186 on their list. So when you're sitting here deciding between Justice Hill, Wandale Robinson, Adam Thielen here, it's like, whoa, boy, I should be taking that kicker, right? I mean, the difference between these players is nothing compared to this 10 point. And lo and behold, if I had the 10th kicker, it's 4 points. But, even if you have the middle of the road kicker, this guy's getting 2.5 more points than you. That's a huge difference. A lot more difference there than between Justice Hill, Thielen, and these guys. All right, let's rank them up here. We're going to use the two lists we made earlier. We got the how inefficient they are at the goal line, had to settle for field goals, and who kicked the most field goals last year here. We got the two lists ready. Let's rank them, huh? Up first, we're going to go with Brandon Aubrey, no doubt. 28 field goals for 40 and 50. Woo! And you can see they're not very efficient at the goal line. He's by far the number one. How about Boswell here for Pittsburgh? I'm going to make him my number 2 on both lists. Pretty high there. We like that. Fairborn, number 3 on both lists. We kind of like that. So he's going to be my number 3. Number 4, we go with Dicker here. All right. Now, he didn't make the inefficiency at the goal line. I think they were 16th there. But hey, 20 field goals from 40 to 50, we'll go with that. And how about Will Lutz here at number 5? We'll go with him. Denver. Hey, maybe they'll get some in close games. Tough division they're in, right? How about Miami here? We got them number 6, Jason Sanders. You can see 17 of those 40 and 50 yarders. All right, we like those. So put him there. Of course, Miami isn't on the list there. I think they were at 18th. How about Carlson here? Well, only 13 of those, but he's on both charts. Vegas not very efficient at the goal line. Maybe there'll be a little better offense, but can't punch it in. Who knows? How about the Giants here at number 8? All right, we'll put him in there. Of course, he wasn't on the list last year, but you can see they're the top of the inefficiency list here, settling for field goals. Maybe Dart gets in there, and we'll have to settle for some more here. How about at number 9? It's Tyler Loop. Tucker, of course, is out. Can't go with him. And Baltimore was the number 1 team in scoring, right? So we're down here where we're putting the top scoring ones in, right? And of course, that's why we put Bates in here. Not because of the field goals. You can see he only had 13, but had a lot of extra points in scoring there. So we saw that was it. What was hitting towards the end of the list last year. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, here's what that list looks like. Aubrey, of course, first you take him. This is going to sound crazy. You got to put on your big boy pants and take some laughing, but you take him 3 rounds before he went last year. All right, so he went 15th last year for me. I'm taking him in the 12th round. People are going to love, you're taking a kicker. Yeah, well, we'll be laughing when I win at the end, right? All right, so, and then if you don't get him, somehow you sleep at the job there. You have 1 round before normal, you take Chris Boswell. right? So if they're normally taking, last year they took them in the 16th round, you take them in the 15th round, all right? And then how about these two? Well, if you missed those first two, well, you take one of these. What's going on? Wake up. Get one of these. And then if you don't get Fairborn or Dicker here, well, you just wait till the 10th and take whatever you get, right? We don't go fishing for people in the middle. We'll just take from the bottom of the list, leave whoever they leave, right? So that's the plan. All right, it's that time. I need to fill my shorts. Get a short, make a short out of this. Warning, this is a rapid repeat. Fantasy AI with the top 10 kickers. I'll go with Jake Bates as my number 10 for Detroit. Made 26 field goals. Tyler Loops, new. Baltimore, number 1 team in scoring, though. Graham Gano, I have at number 8 here for the Giants. Daniel Carlson at number 7 made 34 field goals for Vegas last year. How about Jason Sanders with 37 field goals for Miami? Got him at number 6. Will Lutz, Mile High Stadium, kicking further, made 31 field goals last year. I got him at number 5. How about Dicker here for the Chargers? Got him at number 4, made 39 field goals last year. Fairborn, 36 field goals last year. Got him number 3 for Houston. Number 2, Pittsburgh, right? Chris Boswell made 41 field goals, the most last year. Aubrey made 40, kicking them longer for Dallas. He's the number 1 2 years in a row.